What if some of the most common daily habits aren't harmless at all, but are slowly dulling the brain? In a world obsessed with productivity and constant stimulation, certain behaviors feel normal, even encouraged. But psychology reveals that what looks efficient or relaxing on the surface may actually be working against cognitive sharpness, and most people never notice it happening. Psychology and neuroscience reveal that intelligence isn't fixed. It's shaped daily by small, repeated behaviors. In this video, you'll discover everyday things that subtly reduce cognitive clarity, learning capacity, and mental flexibility over time. Some of these are surprisingly common. Stay until the end. The final insight challenges how modern life defines being smart. Switching between apps, tabs, conversations, and tasks often every few seconds feels productive. It feels efficient, but the brain experiences it very differently. Research shows that multitasking overloads working memory and fragments attention. Instead of doing many things well, the brain rapidly task switches, burning cognitive resources each time. Neural pathways for deep focus weaken, while distraction pathways strengthen. If this habit feels draining, it's not a lack of intelligence. It actually indicates a brain pushed beyond its optimal design. Answering messages while watching a video and half reading an article, yet remembering none of it clearly. And this mental fragmentation leads directly into the next pattern most people underestimate. Scrolling endlessly, watching without reflecting, absorbing content without interacting or questioning it. Studies indicate that passive consumption weakens critical thinking and memory consolidation. The brain stays in a low-effort processing mode, similar to mental idling. Information enters but doesn't integrate. If learning feels shallow lately, it doesn't mean curiosity is gone. It means the brain isn't being asked to work actively. Watching dozens of educational videos, but struggling to explain any of them later. But here's what most people miss. Intelligence declines faster when stimulation replaces challenge. Which brings us to something even more subtle. Stopping when something feels confusing, skipping difficult ideas, choosing familiar thoughts over challenging ones. Neuroscience shows that cognitive growth happens at the edge of discomfort. When the brain struggles, new neural connections form. Avoiding that struggle keeps intelligence static or slowly regressing. If confusion feels frustrating, it actually signals potential growth. Discomfort is not failure, it's activation. Abandoning a complex book or idea because it feels mentally tiring. And there's another modern habit that quietly reinforces this avoidance. Relying on recommendations for news, opinions, entertainment, even beliefs. Behavioral psychology shows that algorithmic curation narrows cognitive exposure. When the brain isn't choosing, comparing, or evaluating, decision-making circuits weaken. If opinions feel less flexible over time, it's not stubbornness. It's reduced cognitive diversity. Consuming only content that confirms existing views without noticing alternatives. Here's the fascinating part. Intelligence thrives on friction, not comfort. Which connects directly to how modern environments shape thinking. Sacrificing sleep for productivity, entertainment, or one more thing. Research shows sleep is essential for memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and problem-solving. Without it, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and judgment, functions poorly. If focus feels harder lately, it's not declining intelligence. It's a tired brain operating without maintenance. Feeling mentally foggy despite motivation and effort. But even well-rested minds can weaken under another common pressure. Always having something playing, music, podcasts, videos, just to avoid silence. Studies indicate that silence supports introspection, memory integration, and creative problem-solving. Constant noise prevents the brain from entering deeper cognitive states. If quiet feels uncomfortable, it often means the mind hasn't had space to process. Turning on content automatically, even during simple tasks. The smartest insights often appear when stimulation disappears. And now, one of the most underestimated habits of all. Ignoring feelings, rationalizing everything, avoiding emotional reflection. Emotional intelligence is tightly linked to cognitive intelligence. Neuroscience shows emotions guide decision-making, learning, and social reasoning. Suppressing them reduces mental integration. If emotions feel distracting, it actually signals sensitivity, not weakness. Making logical decisions that still feel wrong afterward. And finally, the most counterintuitive habit on this list. Valuing quick answers over thoughtful ones, measuring intelligence by reaction speed. Research reveals that deep intelligence favors reflection, not immediacy. Fast thinking handles survival. Slow thinking builds wisdom, insight, and creativity. If thinking feels slower but deeper, that's not decline, it's cognitive maturity. Needing time to process before responding thoughtfully. What modern culture calls slow is often the highest form of intelligence. Psychology reveals something powerful. Intelligence isn't lost overnight. It's shaped quietly by habits that either challenge or numb the mind. These behaviors aren't personal flaws, they're environmental patterns, and awareness alone begins reversing their impact. If several of these felt familiar, that's not coincidence. It reflects a mind that notices patterns and seeks understanding. For more psychology-backed insights into intelligence, behavior, and self-awareness, subscribe for weekly videos that help decode the human mind. Because intelligence isn't about doing more, it's about thinking deeper.